Help me reach 6,000 subscribers. Support the video with a like and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read everyone. Thank you. It's strange how silence can be louder than shouting. For months, our house had been filled with that kind of quiet. Not peaceful, not calm, but thick, tense, and exhausting. I used to think distance grows slowly, like a plant dying leaf by leaf, but I was wrong. Sometimes it dies overnight. It happened on a Friday evening. I came home early, a small surprise for my wife, Claire. She loved when I cooked, so I decided to prepare her favorite lemon butter salmon and roasted vegetables. The aroma filled the kitchen, reminding me of simpler times when we laughed over burnt toast and cheap wine. When she walked in, I smiled like a fool waiting for warmth that never came. Claire barely looked at me. She set her bag down, her expression unreadable. Rough day, I asked, keeping my tone light. She just sighed, brushing past me. Can we not do this right now, Ethan? There it was again, that wall. No anger, no explanation, just a wall. I watched her walk into the living room, scrolling through her phone, her face lit by the screen instead of me. Something inside me cracked, quietly. Later that night, I tried to bridge the gap. I sat next to her on the couch, careful, like approaching a stranger. I made dinner, I said softly. You didn't even touch your plate. She shrugged. I wasn't hungry. I tried to smile, though it felt hollow. Then maybe you'll let me give you something else? I murmured, reaching out to hug her. An instinct more than a thought. That's when she said it. Cold, sharp, detached. Don't touch me. The words froze the air. For a moment, I just stared at her, hand midair, heartbeat slowing like it was giving up. Claire, what's going on? Nothing, she said quickly, looking away. Just tired. Please, Ethan, not now. Her tone wasn't angry. It was worse. It was indifferent. That night, I slept on the far edge of our bed, the mattress feeling like a mile-wide ocean. She turned her back to me, and I lay there staring at the ceiling, wondering how something once so alive could feel so dead. The next morning, I left early for work, but I couldn't focus. My colleagues noticed. Rough night? One asked. I forced a grin, saying, just life. But inside something had changed. That rejection, 3 simple words, had done what years of small arguments couldn't. It made me realize how one-sided everything had become. Every time I reached out, she pulled away. Every time I spoke, she went silent. Yet when she needed something, emotional support, financial help, errands, attention, I was there, like a servant who forgot he once was a husband. By evening, I decided to test something. I came home, quiet and calm. She was already there, sitting at the dining table with her laptop open. Without looking up, she said, Hey, can you pick up my mom's medicine tomorrow? I'm swamped with work. I paused, standing behind her chair. Don't ask me, I said softly. She froze. Slowly, she turned, confusion flickering across her face. What? I said, don't ask me. Her brows knitted. What's that supposed to mean? It means I'm done being invisible, I replied, keeping my voice steady. You can reject my touch, my presence, my effort. Fine. But you don't get to demand things from me as if I'm just part of the furniture. She scoffed, trying to laugh it off. Ethan, are you seriously being dramatic over last night? Dramatic, I repeated, almost laughing myself. You know what's dramatic, Claire? Spending years loving someone who can't even look you in the eye anymore. Her lips parted, but no sound came out. For the first time in a long while, I saw her at a loss for words. And that silence, her silence, didn't hurt this time. It liberated me. That night, I didn't try to talk. I didn't ask what was wrong. I didn't reach out for a hug. Instead, I cooked my dinner, watched my show, and went to bed early. It felt strange at first, detachment dressed as peace, but somewhere deep down it felt right. The next few days followed a rhythm she wasn't used to. I stopped checking in. I stopped initiating conversations. I didn't bring her coffee in the morning like I always did. I wasn't cruel. I was simply absent, the same way she'd been to me for months. One evening, she finally spoke. "You're being distant," she said. I looked up from my laptop. "Am I?" She hesitated. "You barely talk to me anymore." I smiled faintly. "You told me not to touch you. I just assumed that meant everything, not just physical." Her face softened, guilt sneaking into her eyes. For the first time in weeks, I saw emotion there. Not anger, not apathy, but confusion. Maybe even regret. Still, I didn't press. I just let the silence speak for me. But inside, I knew this wasn't the end. Something deeper was brewing, something she wasn't saying. And I was about to find out. That night, I stayed awake long after Claire fell asleep. Her breathing was steady, peaceful, almost too peaceful. I stared at the ceiling again, thinking about the years we'd spent together. The laughter, the trips, the small promises that once felt unbreakable. And yet, here we were, strangers in the same bed, pretending everything was fine. Something in me didn't buy her tired excuse. The detachment wasn't random. It felt intentional. Coldness doesn't just appear. It's built, layer by layer, on something hidden. The next morning, I left home earlier than usual. But instead of driving to work, I parked near her office. I wasn't proud of it. I just needed answers. When trust breaks in silence, curiosity becomes a weapon. Around 9:30, Claire's car pulled in. She stepped out, phone pressed to her ear, smiling. A kind of smile I hadn't seen in months. She walked toward the building, her posture lighter, almost glowing. I sat there, staring at that smile, wondering who it was meant for. I didn't confront her. Not yet. I wanted truth, not drama. That evening, I came home like nothing had happened. She greeted me with polite small talk, the kind that fills the air but means nothing. I answered with the same energy, cold, distant, detached. By the third day, she noticed my quiet wasn't temporary. "You've changed," she said suddenly during dinner. "Maybe I just stopped pretending," I replied. She frowned. "Pretending what?" "That this is still a marriage." Her fork clinked against the plate. "Wow," she said, shaking her head. "You're really going to play the victim now?" I leaned back. "No, Claire. I'm not the victim. I'm the fool who kept loving someone who stopped trying." For a moment, she looked at me, really looked at me, and I saw fear flicker in her eyes. Then, as quickly as it came, she masked it with anger. "You're overreacting," she muttered. I stood, pushing my chair back. Maybe, or maybe I'm finally reacting after years of being ignored. The next weekend, we were invited to a small get-together at her friend's house. A backyard barbecue. I wasn't in the mood, but Claire insisted we go. "It'll look bad if we skip," she said. I almost laughed. "Look bad to who, Claire?" "The world that already sees your perfect smiles." She didn't answer, just rolled her eyes and walked off. At the party, everything felt off. Her friends chatted with the easy energy of people who had nothing to hide. Claire, on the other hand, stayed glued to her phone, typing, smiling faintly. That's when one of the neighbors, an older man named Jeff, came over and asked me quietly, "Everything good between you two?" I gave a small smile. "Why do you ask?" He hesitated, glancing at Claire. "I've just seen her here a lot lately, even when you weren't around." My stomach tightened. I kept my face neutral. "Appreciate the concern," I said, then excused myself. When we got home, I didn't say a word. She noticed, of course. "You're acting weird again," she said. I turned to her, calm but firm. "Claire, is there someone else?" Her face went blank. For a few seconds, she just stood there, frozen. Then she laughed, forced, brittle. "Seriously? That's what this is about? Just answer me." She crossed her arms. "You're paranoid." Maybe I was. But then, the next morning, I got the proof I wasn't. She left her phone on the kitchen counter while taking a shower. I never snooped before, but something inside me, that quiet ache that wouldn't let go, made me pick it up. One unread message glowed at the top. "Last night was perfect. Same time tomorrow." No name, just a number. I didn't scroll further. I didn't need to. I placed the phone exactly where it was and stepped outside. The air was cold, sharp, and clean, like the clarity that comes after a storm. I realized then that I didn't need a confrontation. I didn't need to scream or expose her. I just needed to stop giving my energy to someone who didn't value it. That evening, when she came home, I was packing a small duffel bag. "What are you doing?" she asked, voice trembling slightly. "I'm leaving," I said simply. Her eyes widened. "You can't just. Don't ask me." I cut her off. "Not after everything." She stepped closer, desperate now. "Ethan, please. I can explain." I looked at her, the same woman who once was my whole world, and for the first time I felt nothing. No anger, no heartbreak, no longing. Just release. "Claire," I said quietly, "you rejected my love, my effort, my touch. Now I'm rejecting your excuses. Fair trade." She opened her mouth, but no words came. I walked past her, out the door, into the night that felt more like home than that house ever did. It's been 6 months since that day. I moved into a smaller apartment closer to work. I cook for myself now. I sleep without tension in the air. Some nights, I still think about her. Not with bitterness, but with clarity. Love isn't about staying no matter what. It's about giving where it's valued. When she said, "Don't touch me," she taught me a lesson. When I said, "Don't ask me," I finally learned to live it.